Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here with another scrapbook process video. And today I am using the stash kit that I put together for the Crafty Maven channel this month. If you haven't seen that video, I will have a link to it below just so you can see everything that I pulled for this stash kit. And I was actually basing it off of the mood board from the Crafty Maven Getaway YouTube and Facebook group. So here are the different bits and pieces that I pulled for this layout. So I've gone through and just shown you the papers and some of the embellishments. And as usual, I always pick more than what ends up going on the layout, but these are all the different bits and pieces that I thought I might put on this layout as we go. Now, the first thing that I am going to do here is, for my background, I have just a white piece of cardstock, and I did not prep this paper because I didn't plan, and I don't end up using any wet medium. I sprinkle a little bit of water, but not enough to actually warp the paper. So I did not treat the paper or put any gesso or anything like that on the paper beforehand. And I'm just taking two of my Distress Oxide colors, and I showed them there at the beginning. And I just took this Vicky Bouton stencil. To me, the circles remind me of sort of coffee stains almost. And so I'm just using that mustard seed or yellow color, and then the green, which I forget their names, but if you want to know, just let me know. And I'm just kind of filling in, taking the circle stencil and filling in just down the right side of the page. And that's the only place that I put the Distress Oxide, is right there where you see. Now here is where I just take my little Tim Holtz Distress water bottle, and I'm just sprinkling on some water onto that Distress Oxide, just so I can get it to, do its oxidization a little bit. I want to have just a little bit of a faded sort of textured look on the background. And so, like I said, I wasn't using a lot of water, so I didn't have to worry about my paper warping. So once I had that complete, I set that off to the side to dry, and now I'm going to work on the strips of paper that are going to go on my background. I decided for this one I was going to put my photos in that vertical where I did the Distress Oxide, and then I was going to take these pattern papers and I'm going to put them horizontally. They will go across the page underneath my photo. So you'll see it all come together. And this very rainbow patterned circle paper, I knew that I didn't want to use a huge amount of it. I just wanted to cut two strips of the circles and use those on the page. So there you see I'm cutting those down, and those will end up going on the layout on the top and bottom of my strips. And for each of these strips, I am just cutting about, I think they were about 2 inches, probably give or take, of the yellow and the green papers. Those are the two colors that I'm mainly pulling out for this layout, is the not pink, but the green and the yellow. So even though the circular pattern paper has multiple colors in it, I decided for this one that I was just going to pull out the green and the yellow for this one. Now, I toyed with doing multiple strips and sort of going down or going horizontally across the page in more than just 2 or 3 strips. So you see here I'm kind of playing with how I want it. Do I want to do 3 of these circular strips and then 4 papers? So I'm kind of playing with the design. I know that it's going to kind of be, I'm putting the photo more centered off to the right than up to the top or down to the bottom, and so I'm just kind of playing with how I want to lay these papers out. Ultimately, how you see it right there is how the final page is going to look. I decided that I liked just the bands of those colors on the top and bottom of the strips of paper, so I just kind of lined those all up. Now for a little bit of contrast, I did decide to pull in some of that blue, and I'm using this, I believe this was a piece of crepe paper from the Boys Rule or something along that line. It's a couple of years old now, but I'm using that, and that's going to be the mat for my photo. So I'm pulling in a little bit of blue, but it's a very small mat behind my photo, so it's not a dominant color on the layout for sure. So there you see I've matted my photo, and for this layout I am documenting this yummy cupcake that we bought on one of our Disney trips, and I believe it was a cookies and cream Mickey head or Mickey ear, I guess you could say, cupcake. And as usual, of course, it was delicious. And so I had taken a picture of it, and I always love how Disney decorates their cupcakes, and so decided that this one needed to be documented. Not to mention it was so good that, you know, we still talk about how good this cupcake was. So I'm putting this one in a layout for our album. And here I am just building up my clusters. I have 2 cut files that are hearts, so it's the inside of the heart and then the outline of the heart. And so those are going to be my 2 main embellishment clusters where those hearts are. And from there I am just taking bits and pieces that I pulled from that stash kit, and I'm just going to build up each of these clusters with just a whole bunch of bits and pieces. I have some word phrases. In the large heart, filled in heart, it says favorite, good things, and then I have a camera. And then at the other heart, I have a little piece of pattern paper that had the word magic on it, so I'm going to go ahead and put that up there, as well as documented and a little arrow. And so I'm just showing you that I am building out my clusters, and here I have gone ahead and done my title, which is of course Yummy Mickey Ears, because they were very yummy. And to finish off the clusters, I did decide to pull in the Studio Calico gold stars. They're kind of glittery chipboard stars, and so I'm just putting 3 of those in each of the clusters. And to pull my title and make it feel like it's a part of the layout and not floating, I usually try to join it or put it close to a cluster or close to my photo. And so here I'm using the stars to kind of pull that title into my cluster and into my photo so that it doesn't feel like it's floating. And then from here I am going to just take a look at this layout and see if there's anything else I need to add. But I believe apart from, I don't think actually I add anything else. I thought I was going to add sequins, but then I think I decided against it. So with that, you will see the still photos coming up. And guys, I will catch you on the next one. If you're enjoying my videos, please make sure you subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to see when I put up new videos. And be sure to check out the video from the Crafty Maven if you missed what was in the original stash kit. Talk to you guys later, everybody. Bye-bye.